Good evening and thank you for joining me on Black News Tonight. I'm Marc Lamont Hill. Kim Potter took the stand today during her trial, detailing what happened moments before she shot and killed Daunte Wright. BNC's Ansar Hassan has more on today's testimony.
When former officer Kim Potter took the stand, the defense began with questions about her family and why she chose to be a cop. Then they asked Potter to describe step by step the traffic stop involving Daunte Wright that led to the fatal shooting. Potter told the court it was her training partner, Officer Anthony Lucky, who initiated the traffic stop because of expired tags. She said, had she been alone, she probably would not have pulled him over because it was a minor infraction. Potter then explained that they ran a background check and found an outstanding weapons warrant and some type of temporary restraining order. That made her believe that Wright may have been armed. She says when Officer Lucky tried to arrest Wright, the situation escalated. Here's how she described what happened.
He had a look of fear on his face. It's nothing I've seen before.
Did you say anything when you saw this? What did you do?
We were struggling. We were trying to keep him from driving away. It just went chaotic. And then I remember yelling, "Taser, taser, taser," and nothing happened. And then he told me I shot him.
The questioning got tough when the prosecution took over. They questioned Officer Potter's years of training and her knowledge of department policy. At one point, Potter admitted she may not have done the required safety tests on her last 10 shifts. The prosecution then questioned Potter about making comments about going to jail after shooting Wright and if she violated department protocol following the shooting. Here's a bit of that exchange.
You stopped doing your job completely. You didn't communicate what happened over the radio, right?
No.
You didn't make sure any officers knew what you had just done, right?
No.
You didn't run down the street and try to save Daunte Wright's life, did you?
No.
You didn't check on the other car that had been hit, did you?
No.
That all happened just down the road from you.
Yes.
You were focused on what you had done, because you had just killed somebody. Right?
I'm sorry it happened.
I'm Ansar Hassan for Black News Tonight.
Let's now turn to Benton Harbor and the lead crisis we've been tracking over the last few months. The majority black city is now reporting a decline in its lead levels. According to a report published this week, the results of a 6-month sample reveal a decrease in lead levels for the first time since 2018. Benton Harbor had been dealing with a higher level of lead contamination in the water than Flint had during its entire 5-year crisis. The news comes more than a month after Mayor Marcus Muhammad addressed the matter on our show after he received public backlash over his handling of the crisis. We've come a long way from the stigma that a woman's place is in the home, taking care of children. In fact, some women have even flipped that stereotype. The pressure to be a mother is especially ingrained on women, black women especially. They're often portrayed as caretakers, helping to raise not only children, but also nurture their husbands. But we're seeing more and more black women choose not to have kids. In a new article published in Harper's Bazaar called "Black and Child Free," Houreidja Tall speaks with black women who explain their reason for not wanting to become mothers. Their motivations ranging from career chasing to growing mortality rate during childbirth, and simply put, freedom. To talk about black women and reproductive rights is the journalist Houreidja Tall. She joins us at Black News Tonight. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Why is the idea of not having kids and centering their lives on themselves still so radical for black and brown women?
I think it's really radical because we are expected to either be in positions of servitude generally or we're expected to do things like save the day. For example, Stacey Abrams has been expected to save American democracy.
Saving American democracy is a tall order. Nurturing the needs of Americans, which is read as white, feels very much like the nurturing roles, the mammy roles, the asexual kind of stereotypes assigned to black women throughout history. I mean, it's interesting to think that that still plays out in the 21st century, despite such extraordinary gains, that black women are still kind of dogged and nagged by those controlling images, as Patricia Hill Collins would say. How does that impact black women in terms of their day-to-day decision making, whether it's relationships, whether it's decisions about career? How does it affect them?
Well, for example, choosing to remain child-free can mean that you sacrifice a particular romantic relationship. Sometimes as your friends, become mothers, their lives might focus more to taking care of their children. So sometimes it can become a sacrifice, but sometimes it can also just be about nurturing yourself and taking the time to make sure that you live a life that is deliberate and full of fulfillment. And it doesn't mean hating children. It just means that for the women I interviewed and for myself, fulfillment happens to not include having children.
And that decision not to have children, how does that impact black women in their lived experience?
I think that for a lot of women, they definitely face pressure, whether it's from family or society at large. But for a lot of women, particularly the women I spoke to, it was a decision that was liberatory. Deciding not to have children is something that I've noticed more and more black women are becoming comfortable choosing. It's not a decision that's always easy to make due to outside forces, but sometimes it's the decision that just feels most right.
There's also this question of black motherhood competence. In your article, you mentioned how this idea of black motherhood competence is put into question. What do you mean?
Could you clarify what that means? What you mean by that?
In your article, you talked about how the competence of black mothers' ability to be effective and quality mothers. I mean, which is sort of interesting and ironic, given the fact that we're asked to mother so many people. There's stereotypes of us having these big families and these big communities of black children because black mothers are always making babies, black fathers are always fathering people, and yet still, it's not like black women get credit for being good mothers or being competent mothers.
I've never said that black women can't be good mothers, but I do think that police brutality is a good example of how mothers are often...
I'm sorry, I don't want people to misunderstand. I'm not saying you said that. I'm talking about the idea that the outside world questions black women's ability to be effective mothers.
I see. Well, yeah, so one really good example is police brutality. Mothers can be the perfect mother to their children. They can raise their children the right way. But just by virtue of being black, they can be seen as villains by the police. So sometimes they just aren't given a chance by society.
No, I think that's such an important point. It really resonated with me, this idea that, we're working against the odds, doing the best we can as a community. And when, as you said, someone gets killed by the police, why is mom this? We're in substandard schools. If a kid doesn't have access to books, quality teachers, the schools aren't safe, then they say, why is his mom helping him with homework? And when a father abandons the house and left fatherless, we don't focus on the fact that a father isn't present. We focus on what the mother is or isn't doing. It seems like a can't-win situation for black women. And just to be clear, y'all, I'm not stigmatizing or pathologizing black men. Black men are the most active and involved, non-custodial parents, all that stuff. I'm not taking anything away. I'm just simply saying that black women bear an extraordinary burden here. Another piece of this, I think, is the anti-abortion movement. I think about how they're having a really engaged conversation regarding women's reproductive rights, black women in particular. How do you see that relationship between what's happening with the struggle for reproductive justice for women and black women in particular, and what's happening with the anti-abortion movement?
Right. So I think that the demise of Roe versus Wade will impact all people who can become pregnant, but it will particularly affect black people. And for example, where I live, I saw a flyer once that said that abortions are the #1 killer of black children. That kind of framing is very dangerous because it stops women who need abortions from getting them because of shame or guilt. And in the long run, they end up having a much more difficult life than they would have had they felt safe and supported and getting the abortions they needed.
Absolutely. There is a battle in front of us. There's a cultural battle, there's a social battle, there's an economic battle, there's a political battle. What do you see as some steps, either a step or a few steps that we need to take in order to ensure that Black women have the freedom and the agency to make whatever decisions they want to make with their relationships and with their bodies?
I think really just letting Black women do what's best for them, not trying to convince a Black woman to have a child she doesn't want to have, is a really important decision. I think a lot of women feel pressure in general that they either have to choose between having a career and having a child, or that they're not complete as they are without children. Just realizing that, just because you don't have children doesn't mean that children can't be in your life somehow, or that if you don't want children in your life, that's an okay choice too. That there's no one right way to be a Black woman.
I love those words, and I appreciate everything that you do. Houreidja, thank you so much for stopping by the show and for having this important conversation with me. Thank you. Everybody, be sure to join the conversation. We want to hear from you, so head over to the BNC Instagram and Twitter pages. Let us know how you feel. Also, visit our website, bnc.tv, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to check out clips from the show.